After a detailed analysis of reference frame, today we are going to discuss a very important principle which is actually known as the classical principle or the Newtonian principle of relativity. And along with this, we will also discuss a very important transformation which is called Galilean transformation. Actually, when you say equation of transformation or simply transformation, what does it mean? In fact, any event of this universe can be specified in terms of the space coordinate and the time coordinate. It means event is always specified in terms of space and time. So if we know any event in an inertial frame, then a set of equations, by the use of a set of equations, we will be able to find the event in another inertial frame. And the equations, in fact, which enable us to find the event in another reference frame when we know the same event in any other inertial frame, then such a set of equation is known as transformation equation. So you will see that when we will find the Galilean transformation, then it will be possible to describe an event in an inertial frame if it is known in another inertial frame. So first of all, we will see what is classical principle of relativity, and after that we will discuss the Galilean transformation. Actually, the classical principle of relativity, or you can say the Newtonian principle of relativity, is based on two postulates. But what are those two postulates? Before knowing that, I will give some important examples, and you will see from that example we can conclude, and the conclusion will be actually the two postulates of classical relativity. So you have seen in experience that on a ship traveling at a constant velocity in a straight line with respect to the earth, if we shoot a revolver, the bullet requires the same time to fly from the bow to the stern as it does from the stern to the bow. In another example, you can see a body dropped from a height falls vertically downward, whether the ship is at rest or in uniform motion in a straight line. The path is always a straight line when the ship is either at rest or it is in uniform motion along a straight line. Similarly, if we keep a pot filled with some liquid, let us say water, in the ship, and water poured into the vessel has a horizontal surface, whether the ship is at rest or moving at constant velocity in a straight line. So it follows from these examples and many other not mentioned, which I have not mentioned here, that by conducting mechanical experiments, it is not possible to single out any inertial frame out of the many available. It means the result of these experiments actually say that the inertial frame is, any inertial frame is not of a specific importance, but all inertial frames are equivalent to one another in describing any physical law. So this basic fact of the nature and the concept of absoluteness of space and time, that is, space and time measured from any inertial frame are same, actually form the basis of classical principle of relativity. And so on this basis, actually we have two postulates of classical relativity. I have mentioned these two postulates here. The first postulate actually states that all inertial frames of reference are equivalent with regard to the description of the laws of mechanics. When you say all inertial frames of reference are equivalent with regard to description of laws of mechanics, what does it mean? In fact, in other words, you can say that laws of mechanics are invariant under the transformation of inertial frames. It means whenever we will formulate a mechanical law in any reference frame and again we will formulate the same law in another inertial frame, the mathematical form of the law will not change. So this is actually the first postulate on which the classical relativity is based on. The second postulate is most important, and this postulate states that time and space are absolute. Time and space are absolute. So when you say time and space are absolute, it means if time and space of any event will be measured from any two inertial reference frame, you will get the same result. So these were actually the postulate of classical relativity or Newtonian relativity. Now we will see on the basis of these classical relativity, these postulate of classical relativity, we will find the Galilean transformation equations. So what are actually these Galilean transformation equations? Let us see here. For this, let us consider there are two reference frames. See, you can see this figure. First frame is a frame S, which is actually a stationary inertial frame, and the another frame is S prime, which is actually a frame which is moving with a constant velocity v in x direction. Let us consider that initially, that is when you say initially, it means at t equal to 0, the both frames S and S prime were coinciding. It means their origins O and O prime were at the same position, that is at the position of O. And at the same moment, that is at t equal to 0, let us consider an event takes place. For the example of event, let us consider there is an airplane, and this airplane takes off at t equal to 0 from the common origin of S and S prime. And at the same moment, S prime is also starts moving in x direction with a constant velocity v. And now let us consider the plane reaches to a point P, which I have shown in this figure, at any time t, and this time is actually measured by the observer O of frame S. And the same event is also observed by the observer of frame S prime, which is located at its origin O dash, and let us say that this observer specifies that the plane at point P is at a time t prime. So we can specify the space and time coordinates of this event in frame S and S prime. In fact, in this time t, the frame S dash has moved from O to O dash, that is, it has suffered a displacement OO dashed. In vector form, you can say the position vector of point P relative to frame S is, let us say, R, and with respect to S prime, this is in fact R prime. And this displacement OO dashed is actually equal to V times T or T dash. This is V prime T. Or you can also say this is T dashed if it is measured from the frame S dashed. So now what I have told you, I am writing these facts in brief, so you can see that S and S prime are two inertial frames. Frame S is stationary and S prime is moving with a uniform velocity. Uniform velocity v in common x direction. When you say common x direction, what does it mean? It means x-axis of both of the frames or coordinate systems are coinciding here. And as I have told you that we fix actually the two observers in the two frames and provide them with clock and ask them to observe an event. Say the event is actually a flight of an airplane. And let us assume that the plane takes off at t equal to 0 from O when the primed frame S prime begins to move out from the unprimed frame S, and let the two observers start their clocks at that instant. So an airplane takes off from O at t equal to 0 when S prime was also at the same position. Now this taking off an airplane is an event. So if the initial event will be described by the observers of both of these frames in their frame, then what will be the specification of this frame? So the initial specification of the observers O and O prime of this event. When you say this event, it means the event is takeoff of the plane from the origin O. So what will be the specifications? You know that O is the origin of this reference frame and the plane has taken off at t equal to 0. So the observer O of frame S will specify it as 0, 0, 0 and 0. It means x, y, z. The first 3 0 represents the coordinates x, y, z of the event, and the last 0 represents the time t of the event. So since here all are 0 because takeoff has been taken from the origin, so x, y, z is 0, and we have assumed that the observer starts measuring time at this moment, so time is also 0. And when the same event will be observed by the observer O prime of frame S prime, the specification will be same because you know at this moment both of the frames are coinciding. So the specification of the same event by the observer O prime is also this much, and this is, so we say these are respectively. Now as I have told you, the plane is at the point P and the observer of frame S sees that at point P the plane reaches at a time t, and if the same time is measured by the observer O prime of moving frame, then he or she founds that the plane at that point is at a time t dash. So you can say the event at P is specified by the observers O and O prime as. You can see I have shown it in this figure that in frame S the event is specified by x, y, z, t, and in S prime it is specified by x prime, y prime, z prime, and t prime. So you can see the specification of this event will be x, y, z, t, and x prime, y prime, z prime, t prime respectively. It means the observer of frame S, that is O, specify this event in this manner, that is x, y, z, t, and the observer O prime of the moving frame specifies the same event as x prime, y prime, z prime, and t prime. Now actually our aim is to find, if we know x, y, z, t, then how we can find x prime, y prime, z prime, or t prime. Or in converse, you can say, if we know x prime, y prime, z prime, t prime, then how we can find x, y, z, t. Actually, the relation which will enable us to find to solve such a problem is known as transformation equation. And if you will find this equation on the basis of or by the use of postulate of classical relativity, then such transformation equation will be known as Galilean transformation. So you can say Galilean transformations are simply the transformations obtained on the basis of classical principle of relativity or postulate of classical relativity. Now you have definitely studied in coordinate geometry that if there are 2 points, let us say A and B, and the coordinates of point A are x, y, z, and that of point B are x prime, y prime, and z prime, then you know the distance formula. What will be the distance between these points A and B? So from coordinate geometry, distance or separation, you can say distance या space between 2 points, let us say A, whose space coordinates are x, y, z, and B, whose space coordinates are x prime, y prime, z prime. This distance you know is given as x minus x prime square plus y minus y prime square plus z minus z prime square and whole to the power half. It means square root of this much. This is a standard formula of coordinate geometry. You have definitely studied it in your coordinate geometry course. Now using this formula, actually we will find in the frame S the space covered by the plane in time t and measured by the observer using his clock, and after that we will do the same problem in frame S prime. So you can see So in frame S, the space covered by the plane in time t and measured by the observer O using his clock, and this distance, if we represent this distance by simply r, then what will be this? You can see this will be actually x minus 0 square plus y minus 0 square plus z minus 0 square and whole to the power half. Because you can see this figure that actually the space coordinates of the point O is 0, 0 and 0, and that of point P are x, y, z in frame S. So using the distance formula, we can find the distance between the 2 points O and P in frame S, and this actually is this much. So you can also say that this is simply x square plus y square plus z square square root. So this is actually the distance between point O and P. Now, as I have told you, we will measure the same distance or the distance between the same points O and P, but from frame S prime. So the observer of frame O prime, observer of frame S prime, which is actually O prime, will measure this event, and so you can find the distance between those 2 points in similar manner by using the distance formula in frame S. So you can see that the coordinates of these 2 points in frame S prime are what? You can see here. So now the space coordinates of the points O and P as measured from frame S prime R. You can see what will be the space coordinates of point O and point P when it will be measured by the observer O prime of frame S prime. So you can see these coordinates are actually minus Vt prime 0, 0 and x prime, y prime, z prime respectively. You can see that figure. I am making a simple figure here. Actually, this is the origin of frame S, and this is the origin of frame S prime, and the initial position of the event is O, and we have to measure the x, y, z coordinate of this point O with respect to this O prime. So you can see as the frame S prime has moved from this position S to this position S dashed in a time t, or in frame S the observer O prime says that it moves this distance in a time t prime. So since the velocity is v and time taken in covering this distance is actually t in frame S and t prime in frame S prime. So relative to S prime, this distance will be actually equal to Vt prime. And so relative to point O, the coordinate x coordinate of this point O will be actually equal to minus Vt. And since the frame S prime is moving in x direction, so there will be in fact no change in y and z coordinate. And actually at this point the y and z coordinate are 0, 0 initially. And finally we have assumed it y prime and z prime, but you will see that this y prime and z prime will be same as that of y and z because motion is along the x direction. So I have mentioned here that the coordinates of point O relative to frame S prime at time t are minus Vt prime, 0 and 0, and that of the point P here, these coordinates are in fact x prime, y prime, z prime. Now we will find the distance of this point, this distance OP, or you can say the distance between point O and P, or space between point O and P, measured by the observer O prime. So the space between O and P measured by the observer O prime from S prime. Using the distance formula, you can see this will be simply x prime minus Vt prime square plus y prime minus 0 square plus z prime minus 0 square. And if we represent this distance by r prime, then this r prime will be a square root of this much. And so you can say that this r prime is equal to x prime, here minus minus will be plus, so this is x prime plus Vt prime whole square plus y prime square plus z prime square root. And so this is the distance between the same 2 points, or a space between the same 2 points when it is measured from the moving inertial frame S prime. Now, as I have told you, our aim is to find a transformation equation which will actually relate the coordinates of the event in frame S and the coordinates of the same event in frame S prime. And such equation is known as transformation equation. So you should know here, if we will actually find the transformation equation by using the postulate of classical relativity, then we will call them actually Galilean transformation. So a transformation equation, so not a, but you should say transformation equations. Transformation equations obtained by the use of postulate, particularly the second postulate of classical relativity. Are known as Galilean transformation. Galilean transformations. So now our aim is to find Galilean transformation, and for this we will simply use the second postulate of the Galilean transformation. And you know what is second postulate. You have seen that second postulate says that the space and time are absolute. So now let us use these postulates. Since the postulate says that space is absolute, so you can see when the space between point O and P have been measured by the observer O, then we have found the result R, and when the same space is measured by the observer O prime of the moving frame, then we have denoted that space by R prime. But this second postulate actually says that the space R and R prime will be same. So now let us use the second postulate. So you can say that according to second postulate, of classical relativity. When I write CR, it means classical relativity. Space is absolute, not relative. And when you say space is relative, then what does it mean? It means this R will be equal to R prime. That is, the space measured by observer O and O prime between two given points will be same in accordance with this second postulate of classical relativity. And so you can put the value of these R and R prime from the equation 1 and 2, and you can see this R is actually what? This is x square plus y square plus z square square root, and this R prime is actually equal to x prime plus vt prime square plus y prime square plus z prime squares square root. Now if you will square both sides of this equation, you will get the result simply as x square plus y square plus z square is equal to x prime plus vt prime square plus y prime square plus z prime square, and say this is equation 3. Now you know, according to the second postulate, time is also absolute. So if the observer O says that the plane is at the point P at a time t, and the observer O prime says that it is at a time t prime, then in accordance with this second postulate that time is absolute, we can say that t and t prime will be same. So since time is absolute, in accordance with second postulate of classical relativity. So we can say that t is equal to t prime. Now use this result in equation 3. So you can write, after using this result in equation 3, that x square plus y square plus z square is equal to x prime plus vt, not t prime, because we have actually change this t prime by t in accordance with the second postulate, that time is absolute. So this is x prime plus vt whole square plus y prime square plus z prime square. Now you know actually the x, y and z coordinates of any point or any event are actually independent from one another. So this identity will be valid only when the x coordinate in LHS and in RHS are same, y and z coordinates are likely same. So this equation will hold only when we can get the following result. So this identity implies that x is equal to x prime plus vt, y is equal to y prime, z is equal to z prime, and you have seen that according to second postulate t is equal to t prime. Actually, this set of equations are known as Galilean transformation, or you can, in fact, it is customary in physics that generally we consider that we have known event in the unprimed frame and we have to know the same event in prime frame. So you can write the inverse of this equation. So inverse Galilean transformation, GT means Galilean transformation. So if you want to know the inverse Galilean transformation, what we can do? Actually, if you say that frame S prime is moving with a velocity v relative to frame S, then if we want to know what is the velocity of this frame S with respect to S prime, you can easily say that with respect to S prime, the frame S is moving with velocity minus v. That is, value will be same but direction will be just opposite. So to know the inverse of this transformation equation, we will simply substitute minus v instead of v, and all the primed quantities will made unprimed and the unprimed quantities will be made primed. So taking this clue, you can write the inverse Galilean transformation. So if the first transformation equation is x equal to x prime plus vt, so what you will write at the place of x? We will simply write it as x prime. And when it is x prime, then it will be written as x. And instead of v, now we will write minus v. So this will be minus vt. And at the place of y, we will write y prime, and y prime will be replaced by y, z will be replaced by z prime, and z prime by z. And t will be replaced by t prime, and t prime by t. So these are actually the inverse Galilean transformation. But if you say that this inverse Galilean transformation is Galilean transformation, then equation A will be known as inverse of it. If B is told Galilean transformation, then you can say that A is inverse. So it is not a definite rule that it is necessary to say that the state of equations in A is Galilean transformation and B is its inverse. But we can say that the equations in B are Galilean transformation and this is inverse. So this is not restricted. So these are actually the Galilean transformation in a scalar form. Actually now you can write this Galilean transformation in most general form in vector form. You can write it in vector form. In vector form, Galilean transformations are. You can write these equations in vector form as r prime equal to r minus Vt. R minus Vt. This is the first Galilean. Actually, if we will take the scalar component of r prime, r and v, then you will get the first three equations of the Galilean transformation. And the another is actually t prime equal to t. So we can write this Galilean transformation in compact form, in vector form. Now actually, after knowing this Galilean transformation, in second lecture we will examine whether these transformation equations agree with the first relativity principle. What is the first relativity principle? You know, the first relativity principle states that the laws of mechanics are invariant under transformation of inertial frame. So in the next lecture, our aim is to test that laws of mechanics are invariant under inertial frame or not. We will actually examine, and you will find that actually the laws of mechanics are invariant under the transformation of inertial frame. And when you say under inertial frame, it means these laws will be found that the classical laws of mechanics will be invariant under Galilean transformation. But these facts will be discussed in detail in the next lecture.